The camera cuts backstage. Bron Breakker is walking down the corridor with his Intercontinental Championship slung over his shoulder, sweat still dripping from his forehead after a brutal match. He's alone. No entourage. No cameras following him. Just the cold echo of his boots against the concrete floor. And then, boom! Out of nowhere, a figure in black crashes into him like a freight train. The championship goes flying. Breakker hits the ground hard. The attacker is relentless, pounding away with closed fists, and when the camera finally catches up and the lighting hits just right, you see it, the unmistakable profile, the streak of blonde and brown, the fire in his eyes. It's Seth freakin' Rollins. He's back, and he's here to burn this place to the ground. What's going on, wrestling family? If your jaw just hit the floor, you're not alone, because what we just witnessed on SmackDown might be the most explosive, the most shocking, the most game-changing return in WWE history. Seth Rollins, the architect, the visionary, the man who's been nursing injuries and sitting on the sidelines for weeks, just came back with a vengeance that shook the entire wrestling world to its core. And his target? The undefeated monster, the second-generation powerhouse, Bron Breakker. This isn't just a return, this is a declaration of war. If you've been missing the chaos, the unpredictability, the sheer intensity that only Seth Rollins can bring, then you need to be here with us. Hit that subscribe button right now, because SlamZone is your home for the most in-depth, the most passionate wrestling breakdowns on the entire platform. We're not just talking about what happened, we're diving deep into why it matters, what it means for the future, and how this changes everything. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a moment when the wrestling world explodes like it did tonight. And listen, I know some of you are still processing what you just saw, so drop a comment below and tell me, did you see this coming? Because I sure didn't, and I've been doing this for years. Let me take you back to the moment, frame by frame, because this wasn't just some random attack. This was calculated, this was personal, and this was Seth Rollins reminding every single person in that locker room why he's one of the most dangerous men to ever step foot in a WWE ring. Bron Breakker thought he was untouchable. He's been running through everyone, demolishing opponents week after week, holding that Intercontinental Championship like it's his birthright. The son of Rick Steiner, the nephew of Scott Steiner, he's got that legendary bloodline running through his veins, and he's been using every ounce of that genetic superiority to dominate SmackDown. But here's what Bron didn't count on. Seth Rollins doesn't care about bloodlines. He doesn't care about your legacy. He doesn't care how many people you've beaten or how many times you've stood in that ring and raised that title above your head. What Seth cares about is opportunity, and he saw one tonight. The backstage area of any WWE arena is a labyrinth of hallways, production equipment, catering tables, and dimly lit corridors where anything can happen. It's where the real drama unfolds when the cameras aren't supposed to be watching. Bron Breakker was making his way through one of these corridors, probably heading back to the locker room to celebrate another dominant performance. You could see it in his swagger, that confidence that comes from being on top of the world. The championship gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a symbol of his dominance, a reminder to everyone that he's the present and the future of this business. But the future has a funny way of colliding with the past, and Seth Rollins is a man who's been rewriting the script his entire career. The attack was sudden, violent, chaotic. Seth came out of the shadows like a predator who'd been stalking his prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That first impact, when he drove Breakker into the wall, you could hear it echo through the entire backstage area. Production crew members scattered. Referees came running. Security didn't know what to do because this wasn't part of the plan. This was Seth Rollins going rogue, and when Seth goes rogue, all bets are off. He wasn't throwing worked punches for the camera. These were real strikes, fueled by months of frustration, months of sitting at home watching guys like Bron Breakker take opportunities that Seth believed should have been his. Every punch carried the weight of a man who's been to the top of the mountain, whose main event WrestleMania, who's held every championship worth holding, and who refuses to fade into obscurity. Bron tried to fight back. Credit where it's due, the kid's got heart. He threw wild elbows, tried to use his raw power to create separation, but Seth was like a man possessed. He grabbed Breakker by the back of the head and drove him face-first into an equipment crate. The sound was sickening. Then he grabbed a nearby cable and wrapped it around Bron's neck, choking him, screaming something we couldn't quite make out, but you could see the rage in his eyes. This wasn't about a championship opportunity. This wasn't about climbing back up the ladder. This was personal. This was about respect. This was about Seth Rollins reminding Bron Breakker and everyone watching that you don't get to write him off, you don't get to forget about him, and you sure as hell don't get to take his spot without a fight. The officials finally managed to pull Seth off, but not before the damage was done. Bron was left crumpled on the ground, coughing, trying to catch his breath, his championship lying a few feet away like a forgotten trophy. And Seth? Seth stood there, chest heaving, that wild look in his eyes, the look of a man who just sent a message that will reverberate through the entire WWE roster. He backed away slowly, pointing at Breakker, mouthing something that the cameras couldn't pick up, but everyone watching knew exactly what it meant. This is just the beginning. Now let's talk about what this means, because this isn't just about one attack. This is about the landscape of SmackDown completely shifting in a matter of seconds. Bron Breakker has been unstoppable. He's beaten everyone they've put in front of him. Ricochet? Demolished. Karrion Kross? Destroyed. LA Knight? Dominated. The man has been on an absolute tear, and there wasn't a single person on the roster who seemed capable of slowing him down. But Seth Rollins isn't just anyone on the roster. Seth is a former WWE champion, a former Universal champion, a Royal Rumble winner, a Money in the Bank winner, a WrestleMania main eventer. He's done it all, and he's done it at the highest level. When you put that kind of experience, that kind of skill, that kind of ring intelligence up against raw power and potential, you get something special. You get a feud that could define the next era of SmackDown. Think about Seth's history. This is a man who betrayed the Shield, one of the most dominant factions in WWE history, because he wanted to carve his own path. He turned on his brothers, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, drove a chair into their backs, and became the very thing everyone said he could never be, a top guy. He proved everyone wrong. Then he reinvented himself as the Monday Night Messiah, gathering disciples, spreading his vision across the entire WWE landscape. He's always been ahead of the curve, always thinking 3 steps ahead, always willing to do whatever it takes to stay relevant. And that's what makes this return so dangerous. Seth isn't coming back to shake hands and work his way up from the bottom. He's coming back to take what he believes is rightfully his, and he's going to go through anyone who stands in his way. Bron Breakker represents everything that's new in WWE. He's young, he's hungry, he's got the look, he's got the pedigree, and he's got the backing of the company behind him. But here's the thing about being anointed as the future: you have to prove you can handle the pressure when the legends come calling. And Seth Rollins is absolutely a legend. This is a crossroads moment for Bron. Does he crumble under the weight of facing someone with Seth's resume? Or does he rise to the occasion and prove that all the hype, all the predictions about him being the next big thing, are actually true? That's the beauty of this feud. It's not just about who wins and who loses. It's about legacy. It's about passing the torch or ripping it out of someone's hands. The crowd reaction when this attack happened, even though it was backstage and the live audience had to watch on the big screen, was absolutely electric. You could hear the shock, the disbelief, and then the eruption of noise when they realized what they were seeing. Seth Rollins is one of those performers who generates a reaction no matter where he goes or what he does. People love him, people hate him, but nobody ignores him. That's star power. That's the kind of magnetism that separates good wrestlers from all-time greats. And the fact that he chose Bron Breakker as his target tells you everything you need to know about Seth's mindset. He's not coming back to face mid-carders. He's not coming back to put younger talent over in meaningless matches. He's coming back to fight the biggest dog in the yard, and right now, on SmackDown, that's Bron Breakker. Let me also say this: if you're enjoying this breakdown, if you're feeling the energy and the passion that we bring to every single video, do me a favor right now and hit that like button. It helps us more than you know. Share this video with your wrestling friends because trust me, they need to see this. And subscribe to SlamZone if you haven't already. We're building something special here, a community of wrestling fans who aren't afraid to dive deep, to analyze, to debate, and to celebrate this incredible sport that we all love. Join the family. Be part of something bigger than just watching wrestling. Be part of understanding it, living it, breathing it every single week. The psychology behind Seth's attack is fascinating. He didn't confront Bron in the ring where it would be controlled, where referees could stop it before things got too real. He waited until Bron was vulnerable, alone, off guard. That's the mind of a strategic genius. Seth knows that the element of surprise is sometimes more valuable than pure strength. He knows that getting inside someone's head is half the battle. Bron Breakker has been walking around SmackDown like he owns the place, and maybe he has earned that right with his performances. But Seth just shattered that confidence. He just planted a seed of doubt. Now every time Bron walks down a hallway, every time he's in the locker room, every time he lets his guard down for even a second, he's going to be looking over his shoulder. He's going to be wondering when Seth strikes next. And that mental warfare, that psychological edge, that's where matches are won and lost before the bell even rings. We also have to consider the storyline implications moving forward. Is this the start of a feud for the Intercontinental Championship? Does Seth want that title as a way to re-establish himself on SmackDown? Or is this about something bigger? Maybe Seth sees Bron as a symbol of everything that's been passing him by during his injury, every opportunity he missed, every spotlight that shifted to someone else. Maybe this is Seth's way of saying that age and experience still matter, that you can't just crown a new king without the old guard having something to say about it. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: this feud is going to be must-see television. These two are going to tear the house down, whether it's in a singles match, a street fight, or some kind of specialty match that lets them unleash everything they've been building up. The beauty of professional wrestling is that it's not just about what happens in the ring. It's about the stories we tell, the emotions we feel, the connections we make with these larger-than-life characters. Seth Rollins has been one of the greatest storytellers of his generation. He understands how to make people care, how to make people invest, how to make people feel something real even though they know it's a work. And Bron Breakker, for all his youth and inexperience in comparison, has shown flashes of that same ability. He's not just a muscled-up powerhouse going through the motions. He's got intensity, he's got fire, and he's got that intangible quality that makes you believe he could be the guy to carry the company for the next decade. When you put those two together, when you let them work their magic and build something special, you get the kind of feud that people remember years later. The wrestling world is buzzing right now. Social media exploded the moment this attack happened. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, wrestling forums everywhere, everyone's talking about Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. That's the power of a shocking moment done right. That's what separates good television from great television. WWE knows how to create these moments, and tonight they absolutely delivered. The question now is, where do we go from here? Does Bron get his revenge next week? Does Seth continue his assault and take out everyone in his path? Does the Intercontinental Championship become the centerpiece of this war, or does it evolve into something even bigger? All I know is that I'll be watching, you'll be watching, and the entire wrestling world will be watching because Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker just became the hottest story in all of WWE. Before we get to the final thoughts, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for supporting this channel, for engaging with the content. SlamZone exists because of you, because of wrestling fans who are passionate, who care about the details, who want more than just surface-level coverage. If this video brought you value, if it made you see this attack in a different light, if it got you hyped about what's coming next, then please hit that subscribe button and become part of this incredible community we're building. Comment below and let me know your predictions. Who wins this feud? How far does it go? What matches do you want to see? Your voice matters here. This isn't just my channel, it's our channel. And together, we're going to continue bringing you the most passionate, the most in-depth, the most real wrestling content anywhere online. So what happens next? That's the million-dollar question. Seth Rollins has made his statement. He's announced his return not with a promo, not with a carefully scripted segment, but with pure, unfiltered violence. He's put the entire SmackDown roster on notice that the architect is back, and he's ready to rebuild his empire on the broken bodies of anyone who stands in his way. Bron Breakker now has to make a choice. Does he respond with equal aggression? Does he prove he's not just some overhyped prospect who crumbles when a real threat emerges? Or does he take this attack, learn from it, and come back stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever before? The answer to that question will define both of their careers moving forward. This is where legends are made. This is where moments become eternal. This is where two generations collide in the most spectacular way possible. Seth Rollins vs. Bron Breakker isn't just a match waiting to happen, it's a story about legacy, respect, hunger, and proving who truly belongs at the top of the mountain. Every week on SlamZone, we're going to be breaking down every segment, every promo, every confrontation between these two. We're going to analyze the body language, the storytelling, the in-ring psychology, because that's what we do here. We don't just watch wrestling, we study it, we appreciate it, and we share that appreciation with all of you. If you made it this far, you're a real one. You're the kind of fan who doesn't just scroll past highlights, you want the full story, the context, the meaning behind the moves. That's what makes this community special. So one more time, hit that like button, subscribe to SlamZone, ring that notification bell, and share this video with everyone you know who loves wrestling. The return of Seth Rollins is just the beginning. The war with Bron Breakker is about to explode into something legendary. And you're going to want to be here every step of the way because when SmackDown gets shaken up like this, when the entire landscape shifts in one brutal backstage attack, anything can happen. And in this business, in this beautiful, chaotic, unpredictable world of professional wrestling, that's exactly what we live for. Welcome back, Seth Rollins. And Bron Breakker, get ready, because the fight of your life just found you in that hallway, and it's not going to stop until one of you is left standing tall. This is SlamZone, and we'll see you next time.